for a lot of us, I think this is going to be our first live theater piece since the pandemic, first time doing a play with an audience all in the same room. And, as much as we did stuff on Zoom during the pandemic, and that was lovely, we were doing stuff with people unmuted and to try to create the sound of an audience and stuff. There really is nothing like having people in the same room, right?
Since the pandemic, this is going to be the first time I've done a live show that is a play. And might I add that it's a wonderful, just juicy, rich, haunting play that Roland Tech has written, and I'm delighted to be able to work with my good friend Suzanne Allen, who is a brilliant director.
So this is for me, I just found the piece so timely because so many of us have been dealing with grief on so many levels, and it's hard to necessarily bring it up and feel that it's okay. That's why I love this place so much right now, especially.
Their relationship is being pulled apart by this tragedy, this tragic event in their lives. And I think what's pulling it apart, if I had to boil it down, is like that they're both really emotionally invested in a certain interpretation of that event, and they don't sync up.
You know how in life, someone's the leader, someone's the follower. And I feel like Pat has always really looked up to Helen. Well, she has. Helen's a writer. She's very, famous. And it's almost like if you bring in the grief, it'll take Helen off a pedestal that Pat doesn't want her to be off.
Speaking into this sort of play that draws me and that I know draws Suze, when we first read, when I first read it, when I got it sent to me, I was just drawn. And at this point in my career, I usually know when I read a script if I am wanting or if it's speaking to me.
I think if Stan, he's a lot of fun to play because with the tone, I think he primarily brings to a certain extent is comic, because it's real. It's because like all Roland stuff, it's serious and it's funny.
It's about how we deal with grief, which is something that we don't deal with well in this country, I find.
Of all the emotions too that are unspoken and undealt with, grief is the most complicated because we don't know as a culture quite what to do with it.
Because yes, there's secrets being kept and little tendrils, things start to come out, and
the humor that comes out of, being careful when they don't say the wrong thing, people are funny. Humans are funny.
Stan thinks he's really clued in on everything, and sometimes he's not, and he's the last one to realize that.
And grief, when you feel responsible, is so complicated.
I've seen many shows there, and it's such a warm and inviting space. When you walk through the doors, you just know that there's just a lot of creativity and a lot of love, and it's comfy, and it's just a great place to do theater.
The Hill, formerly St. Lawrence Arts Theater, is a kind of a home for me in Portland, another one of my main homes. I've had some pretty challenging roles there with some critically acclaimed pieces.
What I get excited about in looking for work to do, to perform or to direct or to read, are those unspoken truths, like the grief and the shame and the blame and the guilt.
Cutting edge theater, stuff that you don't get to see on Broadway, maybe not even off, because you need it backed. And that's the other piece of theater that people don't understand. Tickets don't pay the bills.